Well, welcome back, guys. Here we are with the second video on the Fantasy 2. This chassis specifically is designed for RC drifting, and it is designed by one person, Baula on Facebook. If you would like more information on the chassis, there's a Facebook group dedicated to the Fantasy 2 chassis. And from there, you just go down the rabbit hole of all the things that is special about this chassis. I currently have it in the low center of gravity configuration. That means the motor is here and the battery is in front of it. You can also raise the motor up, put the battery further back. You can also raise the motor all the way back there, and you can place the battery this way. Another thing that you can do is take this battery, and instead of having it on the lower chassis plate, you can bring it on top to where my gyro is, and you can have it on the top chassis plate as well. So let's get into some of the details that we're going to discuss today. Let's go ahead and look at this wonderful forged carbon and the metal parts. As you can see right here, we have forged carbon, and then we have aluminum pieces right here, as well as aluminum and forged carbon throughout the chassis. If you look under as well, you'll notice something very special. This is a Fantasy 2021. So it's a Fantasy 2 developed in 2021. And the main difference is you got yourself forged carbon, and you got this new version of the front bumper. And that is what makes this one different from the other ones. There's a Fantasy 2 that is the regular carbon fiber weave. If you notice, I do not have any brake calipers or rotors. You can also get those from Baula. I hope I'm saying his name correctly, but you can also get those from him. They're metal. They're the greatest quality machined aluminum pieces that you can put behind here, but I do not own those. And there's also dampers. So I know he talked about a version where he sells dampers as well, but I do not have Baula or Fantasy 2 dampers. Most people buy the chassis and that's it, and then they put their own touch to it with the dampers and maybe even brake calipers as well. Now that we got the basic foundation of, forged carbon, metal / aluminum pieces, and then we got these nice front end that differentiates this Fantasy 2 from the others that have come out. Let's talk about this front end. This front end is the most iconic front end other than the side rack. No one else makes a front end like this. The geometry on it is pretty self-explanatory. Let me turn my light on so you can see it better. So when you go in here, you'll notice that the tie rod end, as some would call it, or your rod end that connects the steering arm to the actual steering knuckle or wheel knuckle, front knuckle, that is in front of the shocks. It's in front of the dampers. If you look, this arm is in front of the dampers, which allows for a lot more clearance. It also gives us, I don't want to say it, but it's like I wouldn't call it praying mantis, but it just has this overall crazy look about it. As you can see, you get all the clearance you need to go full lock, almost full lock over here. And then when you turn the other way, you get the same thing. Another cool feature is that there's no stopper. There's no stopper for this arm, for this knuckle here. The stopper for these wipers, believe it or not, it's not the dampers. Right here is the stopper. That's the stopper for the left and right limits, the mechanical left and right limits of the turning. So you notice that triangle right there, this triangle right here is how the chassis stops itself from turning more left or turning more right. And let's look at what's on the other side of that. Notice there's a set screw here. So that set screw allows you to adjust how far in or how far away you are from that triangle, that stopper there. So centered on the chassis is its own stopper, which also makes this really awesome for going ahead and doing your steering setup. As you can also see, there's a lot of adjustments here. You see these white hash marks. Let me zoom in for you. See the white hash marks there. So you got all these adjustments here that can adjust the camber forward or back for the top of the vehicle. Then you got your adjustments down here that can adjust the track width for the bottom. Or you could say, oh, I want to change my camber. I don't know anybody that wants to change their camber from the bottom, but there you go. You can change the camber there. Let's go ahead and turn it again. Over here, you have the turnbuckle rod end or ball end, and it looks like that's adjustable as well. As you can see with this little screw, you can move that further out or in. Then up here, we have another adjustment. So you can adjust the caster. You can adjust your caster here. So what this is a little piece that you can move. You can take this out and put it here on this side, and then that would mean this whole piece would slide forward, giving you a different caster angle. So you can adjust caster there, and then as well, you get more width adjustments for the front end by adjusting where you see that word fantasy. So right here, you can loosen this screw and slide this further in or out. And the same goes for up here. Okay, so now we're looking at it from rear to front. Let's go back in. You can also adjust right here. Keeping with all the adjustability, let us not forget the holes down at the bottom. So we have holes here where you can put the whole arm, the lower arm. You can adjust the lower arm here. You can move this whole arm further in, which gives you a different track width. And there goes that slide piece right here again on both sides. So you can adjust this length and adjust this length. And then when you go up top, you can adjust where your shocks are as well. And there's about 6 adjustments there. Overall, the front end is insane as far as adjustability. Insane. Moving on to the servo area. As you can see, the servo is positioned pretty much horizontal across, and the arm will wipe left or right. And then we have a adjustable rod that we can place, or turnbuckle that we can place on the servo horn to connect to the wiper arm and begin turning. That also has adjustability. We have adjustability on the wiper arms as well. And from the front end, you can see there's adjustability for the body mounts. 3 different areas, and it can rise up here by loosening this, and you can bring this piece further up. As you can see, mine is pretty much almost in line with the front upper control arm. So you can get this body as low as you want or as high as you want. One of the last features I'd like to show you before I end this video is that you can adjust the droop on the chassis. If you look closely, right here, there's an adjustment. As you can see right there, I can put my screwdriver in there. There you go, you can see the droop right there. It's a droop screw. Got droop adjustment on a drift chassis. That's awesome. And we have the Fantasy 2 with its own little handle so you can pick it up as well. And that will pretty much do it for the front end of the chassis. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is the Fantasy 2 made by Baola. 2021 forged carbon version. And oh, I would also like to say that most of the front end comes assembled. If you watch my previous video, you'll see what I mean about this chassis. So you don't have to worry about assembling everything. And you can pretty much get 90 degrees or parallel full lock. If you're going for more than that, I don't know what you're trying to do as far as angle is concerned, but more power to you. But this will be the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to keep God first, and I'll catch you on the next video.